Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new Celsius update. I'm going to do a really quick intro. I'm going to give you guys all the actual audio that just came out today. As you guys may or may not have heard, Alex actually did go and break his silence publicly and did go actually make a statement to Simon Dixon. So we're going to go talk about that and just let it all audio fully play in case you guys want to hear it or hear his thoughts and opinions. This is pretty much the very first time he has actually went and spoken publicly on Spaces. We have seen him actually floating around in a few other various spaces, although not speaking. This also came right after a few days ago with that big leak that came out to as well. And I do think a lot of people are kind of chiming on in / being a little bit more around with this one because you had a most recent court document that did go and showcase that Celsius is wanting to actually start selling stable coins, so basically like everyone else's stable coins in the community, to go and keep on funding operations in the business, to ideally not take out a dip loan, which would actually put it higher than, because that would basically be a secured loan that would be higher than unsecured creditors, and also would have a very high interest rate. Although a lot of people have also been pushing back, stating they should probably just be selling the sell token, because that's basically what it's meant for, is like a war chest, basically meant to go and use in case operations get risky or rough, and as well, that's where I think a lot of tension has been kind of driving up in the community. So that's a little bit more of the context. I'm going to go let you guys go and hear out the recording itself when it comes to this. And as well, if any of you guys are and do like these updates, make sure you guys are subscribed. If you guys want to, put on the notifications for the YouTube channel. I've been trying my best to keep you guys up to date with some crypto news, Voyager news, and Celsius news the best I possibly can. My take on this one is that I actually would be perfectly okay if they were to go and rather sell tokens that they have an access for, rather than using the stable coins, which they actually have a really big deficit for. And although I'd also rather just have a zero dip loan financing to as well, I'll be kind of very curious to see how the courts kind of progress, because it does kind of seem like Celsius is still bleeding a lot of money with all of their usual hosting and also basically salaries as well. So I'm gonna let the go and actual recording play out over here. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below, or on Reddit too if I post this up on Reddit, and I would like to hear your thoughts on it.
Does want to speak, so if you would be just to bring him up and to talk. I think you talked in a space where he was there, so I mean this would be precedence if he's willing to talk. He said that he would like to talk, so I don't know
if he's asking to come up, you should bring him up, Simon.
Okay, yeah, we'll bring Alex up. So Alex is here.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, Alex.
Yes,
Great. Thank you for letting me speak. Since Simon was been on our channels a dozen times, first of all, Celsius bankruptcy is not like all other bankruptcies. There are no bondholders or other people in front of the community. The community is the creditor, the main creditor, which means the community owns most of the company, most of the mining company, most of the sell token. So if Simon's trying to make you go somewhere else, that diminishes, that makes you throw stones at your own house. We are here to fix Celsius. We're here to bring everybody together. We're here to extract as much value as possible for the creditors, for all the people who are owning part of Celsius. I'm a creditor, just like you. One of the largest creditors, just like you. Okay? So instead of fixing, let me finish. Instead of trying to fix Celsius, Simon is trying to take you to a different house. Say, hey, forget about this one. Doesn't matter if you own a piece of it. Come with me somewhere else because we're going to make it better over there. That's not going to make it better for you, for what you own in Celsius. For us to maximize the value of the company, we need to stick together and rebuild this company. That's all we need to do. Okay? And I'm shocked.
Okay, Alex, how would you suggest? How could I help in that process?
Who is he's betraying his own investors, the people he brought into the A round to come in with him. Instead of fixing the problem, help fix the problem, he's trying to buy it on the cheap. He's trying to take you somewhere else. Just like if there was anybody who didn't help their fellow man, it's Simon Dixon.
These are
okay. So Alex, what would you like?
Plain C, stop.
Let's have a constructive conversation.
Plain C.
I'm allowed to speak. All I'm saying is let's have a constructive excuse me, I'm talking.
So Alex, what could we do to help better?
We have a process. It's called Chapter 11. We all are part of that process. you have an idea, you have a way to solve this, you need to submit a plan to the UCC. That's what you need to do. Bringing on a
That's not quite the
competitor,
process, Alex.
bringing on a competitor of Celsius and trying to
that's not.
convince people to switch over, trying to convince everybody that somehow the other house is better while everybody's
Alex,
suffering is
you know
not
as well as
a
us, you
solution
know
for
as well as us
Celsius.
that you know as well as us that both Sean and us have offered up solutions, and you know the process is
You
not to go to the
submitted to the
UCC, it's
UCC.
to go to the investment bank that's
Did you
Celsius.
submit a plan to the UCC?
No, it's not to the UCC, it's to the investment bank that Celsius has engaged.
You need to submit a plan to the UCC, Simon. That's what you need to do.
Okay, well, that's not the process. The
No,
process is the
you created
investment
your
bank.
own process. You decided to create your own process. You were taking this, trying to take the Celsius community somewhere else. You're basically telling them, guys, come take new loans with
Alex, did
salt
both
lending.
Sean and I offer up all of our licenses at one stage to try and get this compliant?
This has nothing to do with any of that. Okay, this has to do with all the people on this call getting
Do you
as
agree?
much
Do
as
you
they
agree
can
that the
back.
regulators are a big part of whether this actually gets out of Chapter 11?
The only thing you have to do, Simon, is submit a plan. Can you submit a plan? Instead of giving all the excuses
And
in
you
the
know it doesn't
world,
go to the UCC. It has to go
instead
to your investment bank that
all
you've
the
engaged.
excuses, just submit a plan.
And you know what process and what I can and can't say and what documents had to be signed that is preventing me saying what's happening here.
Simon, come on. How many months did you spend in the data room at Celsius? Can you share it with everybody? Just tell everybody.
There's a document that made that I had to sign that doesn't allow me to answer that question.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think you already
the process is the investment bank
that document by
Celsius
disclosing
controls.
certain things on calls before. So I think you're already beyond that point. Okay. So anyway, look, I'm trying to be constructive here. Okay.
Okay. Let's do that, Alex.
We are trying to help the Celsius community. We're trying to return the coins to everybody as fast as possible. That's what we all should be focused on.
Okay, and should we be focused on getting this so that regulators allow this to come out?
You keep coming up with every excuse possible to talk about everything else besides what I just said.
You know that's the issue, Alex. You know that's the issue. You're just trying to avoid that.
Can I ask a question to Alex? It's an important question for everyone.
I think he's left.
It's a very simple.
Look, to be fair. Look, sorry, Pansy. To be fair, I want to be fair. Alex literally just came up against all of his lawyers' advice because this meant so much to him to say what and it's very, very challenging for anybody to have to listen to this without you getting your say. Okay, so he dropped off not because he didn't want to, because Alex would, stand up to anybody. That's certainly something he would do, but he left because he had to. And so I just want to be fair because we could say a bunch of stuff right now. And he is in a very difficult situation where he's not able to respond, which is very unfair, but it's the situation we're in. The regulatory issue is the issue. Any plan has to get signed off by regulators, and we are following the process, and the process that we were just told to follow is not the process. Okay.
I mean, I respect the fact that, coming on stage against his lawyers, that's a big deal. He obviously wants to speak. It's obviously hard for him, right? It's obviously hard for 300,000 people that are, lost money too. But I just wanted to ask Alex a very simple question that is very relevant to this entire process in bankruptcy. My question for Alex was, and I know he wouldn't have probably been able to answer it, but it's something that I think everyone needs to try and figure this out. Who owns the shares to the mining company? Is it owned by are their shares owned by the Celsius founders, like the C-suite, or is it owned by Celsius, the company? Who owns the mining company? Because if it's owned by, if there's a lot of shares that have been given to founders, why? And what are the reasons for that? We don't know. But I would love to know that. If anyone can find that information, if it's online, I don't know how we can find it, but is it a company owned by Celsius, the corporation, or are there shares that have been given to the founders that were, it's just an interesting question.
Well, the answer most likely is it's part of the estate. It is part of the Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It is filed as one. So I would assume it's the estate's property at this point in time.
That wasn't my thing. It was to do with what's the breakdown of the shares. It's a very simple question. It's not complicated. Before bankruptcy, who owned the shares to the mining company?
I don't give a shit. Well, sorry, pardon my language. I don't care about prior to bankruptcy. We're in bankruptcy.
Hey,
so
Jason, do you mind if we
Jason,
we really want to have a constructive conversation?
I'm sorry. I'm loud. I'm not.
Everyone has a right to ask a question, and all I'm doing, whether you agree with it or not, is I have a very simple question that I think is very relevant.
This room's so censored.
And it's something that I think should be answered. That's all I'm saying. We can disagree if you want. That's fine. But
No, I'm telling you right now, it's part of the estate.
My question was.
So let me answer that for you, Plan C. If you want that information, and it's not publicly available, then you'd have to file a motion, or you'd have to be in a process where you get access to non-public information. If you think that information should be public, then you're going to have to follow the Chapter 11 process.